Some common chemicals used in the workplace for you guys is bebopper, bar and chain lube, oil, diesel and gas, and WD-40. Gas, diesel, oil, and WD-40 are surprisingly all lower than bebopper on the scale of flammability. Bebopper is moderately low, the rest of those are low. So some tips: always keep out of mouth and eyes. Always wash your hands before consuming food and drink, and when using tobacco products. Each yard has one of these yellow safety data sheet binders. This is where you're going to go if you come into contact with a chemical and need information on that chemical. When a new chemical is brought in to the workplace, we must obtain an SDS form. It's the buyer's responsibility, so if you bring in cleaning supplies, you need to find the SDS sheet for that chemical, and it does need to be added to the SDS binder. Each chemical in that SDS binder is formatted in a standard 16 section format. So you are always going to find first aid measures in section 4, firefighting measures in section 5, etc. All flammable liquids and gases shall be stored in a flammable cabinet. Flammable cabinet doors shall be kept closed when not in use. The following chemicals shall be placed in the cabinet, no exceptions: stored bebop, hornet, and mosquito spray, oil, diesel gas kept outside of the bulk tank, bar and chain lube, silicone spray, etc. Always be on the lookout for lead, PCB, asbestos, and active radio frequency. If you are on a job with any of these substances, there will be additional training. If lead is a concern, there will be additional training. PCB: when working with PCB cans, do not touch or come into contact with inner contents. If there is a spill, contact DTE Hazmat for a spill cleanup. For asbestos, old Detroit conductor coating contains trace amounts of asbestos. Be aware. And active radio frequency: there shall be later training pending the DTE Verizon policy procedure. What is a secondary container? A secondary container is any container other than the container that chemical was shipped in. It can be as little as an empty water bottle, although it is highly advised, not to put any chemical in a water bottle. There are 6 parts to a chemical's label requirement. Part 1 is product identifier. Part 2 is signal word. Part 3 is hazard statement. Part 4 is precautionary statement. Part 5 is supplier identification. And Part 6 is pictograms. Part 1, product identifier. That's the name of the chemical. Part 2 is signal word. Those words are danger or warning. Danger is used for more severe hazards, and warning is used for less severe hazards. Part 3 is the hazard statement. This describes the nature of the product's hazards. For example, highly flammable liquid and vapor causes serious eye damage. Part 4 is the supplier identification. This is the name, address, telephone, website, anything you're going to need to know about that supplier and how to reach them if you need to. Part 5 is the precautionary statement. This explains prevention, response, storage, and disposal of that chemical. So how to prevent exposure, how to appropriately respond to accidental spillage, a safe way to store the chemical, and a safe way to dispose of the chemical. Every chemical label will have a pictogram. Some may have more than one.